Well, my journey with private psychiatry care began when I still lived in the US. So for a long time, I lived in Colorado, which it's quite an interesting place to go through a sort of mental health um, need when you're living somewhere that is so beautiful that people are coming from all over the world to just be in the mountains and be surrounded by what I saw every single day. And I think in some ways that actually made it feel even more isolating, was that I was in a place that everybody else loved and I could see objectively why they loved it, but I just I couldn't get on board. I couldn't feel the same way that everybody else felt. And for a long time, I tried to ignore how I was feeling. And then it kind of got to a point where I just I knew I wasn't myself anymore. And I think that I could have kept trying to go on and keep trying to struggle. But why would you do that when you have so many great services available? So I decided that this was something that was sort of out of my hands and that I needed to seek private healthcare and private help for this. So now, obviously, in the US, the healthcare system's a bit different. So there isn't a government system that you can rely on. So you do have to go private. But in that, it gave me a lot of freedom and a lot more choice. And obviously, I had so many more options by doing that. And so I sort of started in the same way that I think, everybody does when they don't know what they're doing and they don't know where to begin. I just Googled psychiatrists in my area. And it's overwhelming at first, the list of options that you have. But I think I felt that with the clinic that I chose, I just got a sense from them straight away of what they're about and in who they were there to treat sort of specifically. And I went through the doctor's profiles online, and then I checked their credentials to make sure that I was going with somewhere really reputable. And then I went and visited and just had an initial consultation and spoke with somebody to just sort of get the sense of what I could expect if I chose them for treatment. And I felt very confident. Having done that research before I went in, I sort of knew what to expect. And also I think it was helpful to see the clinic online, also because these can be quite intimidating spaces to go into. So if you've seen it online and you know the sort of faces that you'll be seeing there, it felt very, very welcoming, and I knew that I was in good hands. And so I ended up working with them for a few years before I ended up moving back to the UK. And so then once I moved to London, it wasn't long before I started working here for the Blue Tree Clinic. But I feel like my experiences with private psychiatry care in the US has made me feel really strongly about, what it is that makes the Blue Tree Clinic really stand out and stand above the rest. For one, therapy, it's not a one size fits all. It's no one person has the exact same experience as anybody else. And I think the fact that at Blue Tree there are multiple doctors, multiple therapists that you can work with, you will find the right person for you here. And maybe it's not the very, very first person that you speak to or very first person that you work with, but there are multiple doctors and multiple therapists on staff. So you will find the right person for you, for your needs and for your care here. We're CQC regulated, which is obviously really highly important. We're highly inspected and regulated being on that list. So we're offering the top level of service here. I think also the options in funding are fantastic. So if you have health insurance, great, we accept insurance. But if you want to self-pay, we can absolutely self-pay. And we offer fees here on a sliding scale. So whatever your circumstances are, it's very likely that we can find a plan that matches your needs. And then I'd have to say just the highly trained, highly personable doctors and therapists. Everybody here is very kind, very gracious, very welcoming, and more or less just working the hardest for their patients. And offering top level service of care. And then I think, finally, you're not limited by options. So, sort of similar with the options of doctors and therapists that we have on staff. If you just want to meet someone online, if you want to have all of your appointments online, we can absolutely do that. If you'd like to come in person, there's a brand new clinic here in North London that's recently opened. So, all state of the art, beautiful new clinic that you can come in person as well. So, it's up to you. We just have so much choice, and I feel, that you will find the right care for you in whatever capacity, in whatever way that you need it, and what suits best for you. We have here at the Blue Tree.